talk about US President Donald Trump and his wonderful B team, who's been targeting Iran continuously, while at the same time urging them to come to the table, to negotiate. They're ready to make best friends with Iran, but they're saying you better not have any preconditions when you come to the table. What is really happening here? How much of this is the elections 2020 and trying to keep within that time frame? And how much of it is a situation that is rapidly spinning out of control?
Well, thank you very much for having me on the show. I think you hit the nail on the head there. It really is a situation that is spinning rapidly out of control. I believe yesterday the Iranian president said, "You sanctioned the foreign minister simultaneously with the request for talks." So I really think that the Trump administration's policy towards Iran is completely misguided. You have the economic rhetoric from Donald Trump saying that he wants to essentially stranglehold Iran and all the Iranian officials. But then you have the hardliners around him like John Bolton who want military intervention. And as you mentioned, the 2020 election is obviously something that is massively playing into Donald Trump's mind, and the optics of every decision he makes, really what matters to him most is making sure that his base will stand out and support him. Now, I thought initially with the response to the two oil tankers and then the downing of the drone, that the Trump administration were testing the waters, seeing that if his base would follow along and say, well, we support Iranian intervention or American intervention in Iran, that it would be a sure thing. However, this morning, a Politico and Morning Consult poll shows that 59% of registered Republicans support intervention in Iran, which, although a majority is not big enough to justify Trump, I suppose, sacrificing the wants of his base. But I think, as I mentioned, the optics of 2020 are playing massively into his mind. But we can't forget that, historically speaking, being at war has been very helpful for previous presidents to win re-election, especially with the incident in the Gulf of Oman last week. That was very reminiscent of the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which allowed LBJ to invade Vietnam. And then also, of course, the war in Iraq helped George W. Bush to win re-election.
But do you think since then, sorry to cut you there, but do you think, Mr. Ross, since then things have changed a little bit? The global sort of mood towards how U.S. takes on its policy, especially since Trump came into power, has changed a bit. I mean, we're seeing Russia call out very openly that these sanctions itself that have been imposed on Monday are super illegal. EU is trying to continue its steps in trying to establish INSTEX as fast as it can. So do you agree with this, maybe, that the situation is not the same, to expect the same from the alliances this time around?
I think so. And what I found quite surprising is Trump's endless rhetoric on him not wanting these pointless and endless wars, yet then would toy with the idea of invading Iran. His base are openly supportive of ending the occupation of Afghanistan. So to be honest, I don't really understand why he's even teetering on the idea of military intervention, because it's something that he ran his 2016 campaign on. But I think what it is representative of is the fact that he has one, a completely misguided foreign policy, but two, these hardliners like John Bolton surrounding him who really want regime change. Right. I think the only way to go about that is by military intervention.
Okay. No, but the B team is now, there's a new person added just on the job on the crux of what is the U.S.-Iran tension. That's Mark Esper, the U.S. acting Secretary of Defense. Do you have any hope from him, or do you think he's got pretty much the same agenda as Pompeo and Bolton?
I would assume so. I think the days of hoping for a cohesive foreign policy from the Trump administration are sadly gone. However, again, we can hope as much as we can, and we'll just have to wait and see. But I think kind of coming on from the sanctions that were placed a couple of days ago, I don't really see much of a change.
You don't see much of a change. All right.